What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about one of my you'd call this one of my more like old man tendencies, if you want. More like, I'm not complaining, I'm just saying like this is something that's pretty annoying. So I was at Virginia Beach this week hanging out on the boardwalk, and for those of you that don't know, the Virginia Beach boardwalk is not made of boards or wood. It is concrete, and it goes, you know, basically right between the sand and all the hotels and all that kind of stuff. And so on this boardwalk, they have a separate lane that's everyone that's walking closer to the ocean, and then a separate one that's asphalt, so concrete for people walking, asphalt for people on bicycles, or surreys, which are those like four-wheeled bicycles that people put in. They're kind of like a golf cart, but you pedal them, and all sorts of like roller skaters, things like that go over there, right? So they separate it. And when I was hanging out there, there were a bunch of people on surrons, which are those like electric bikes. I don't believe that they have pedals. I believe they're basically just an electric dirt bike sort of thing, an e-bike. They're like a cross between, because you can tune them and you can go like 70 miles an hour and you can wheelie them and all this stuff, but they still, you know, weigh fairly little compared to some of the Zeros and some of these like bigger electric bikes that we see now. Thank you. And so down the boardwalk section, like not even in the bike lane part, but down where it's full of people, and they also are doing construction on it, which means that like there's lots of barriers across it, and it's sort of chaotic right now. There were all these surron riders that were ripping wheelies down the road. We're gonna go for it. Ripping wheelies down the road, and between people and all this stuff. And I was just sort of watching, and I was like, man, if you were on a motorcycle, you'd never get away with that. People would be calling the police, and you'd be, I don't know, they'd probably arrest you or do something, like, just because of the sound of an engine versus the practical silence of an electric motor. And it's just like, man, the double standard is so frustrating. Just that e-bikes get, like, I see e-bikes all the time on these like greenways where it says like no motorized vehicles, and it's like, you clearly have a motor, I can see it, you have battery packs, and just because you're pedaling right now, or even if you're using the pedal assist, not full electric, it's like you're still motorized. And you know, those ones aren't the big offenders if it's like, oh, you just got pedal assist going. But I feel like it's starting to get to the point where it's like, okay, like these surrons and some of these things are essentially just unplated motorcycles. Essentially, when people are tuning these things so they can be doing like 70 miles an hour and ripping wheelies, it's like, this is just an unplated motorcycle. And it's really just unfair that they're like getting away with this and nobody cares. And I'm not going to be the Karen who like calls the police on them or does any of that stuff, but it's just like, if you're doing that, cut it out, because this is stupid. This is really dumb. Look at you, you wanted to go, I could tell. It's really dumb. It's like if you hit someone on that bike, it's really gonna hurt, because it's still a fairly heavy machine. It isn't like you're just riding a bicycle. I knew I was gonna get stuck behind this truck. Gosh, they're gonna ruin this fun road. But the thing is, like, if you're doing that kind of stuff, if you're like doing wheelies and stunting or going really fast on any of these pedestrian walkways, it's like you're just gonna ruin it. Because right now, the beauty of living in the US is that our legal structure takes so long and so slow that it doesn't adapt to new technology very well at all. And so nowhere in our like laws does it ever really account for these e-bikes, it feels like. And so they just kind of get away with it or whatever, and nobody really cares. And it's just gonna take until someone like gets hit by one and seriously injured, or something, you know, happens that forces lawmakers, where it's like lawmakers can call it like the such and such, the Sally Mae law, and it's like, we're gonna save, you know, children from being run over by electric motorcyclists. And that's unfortunately the way it works in the US, right? Like, no one's gonna do anything until something bad happens. And that's why I'm saying, like, preserve that right. Like, don't sit here and abuse it, because do stuff like that, because then you're gonna find yourself having to register your surrons, having to register all these things, plate it all. I'm not sure, maybe you should be plating them, but these ones weren't plated. And it's just like, you're gonna ruin all this stuff, man. You're gonna have to, like, have, I don't know, they'll make like special plates or special registrations for e-bikes, and we just don't need that, right? Because like, e-bikes, I mean, I'm fine with them, I don't really care. I just wish people wouldn't abuse them and do obnoxious stuff. Just like how I don't want people doing like super obnoxious stuff on the road that causes like people to get mad at motorcyclists, right? Because at the end of the day, a cager might just see you exactly like a motorcyclist. It's like, ah, you're on two wheels, you have a motor, you know. If they try to run a motorcyclist off the road, if they try doing some of this stuff to us, they might try doing it to you too, or something eventually. So all I'm saying is, be careful, bros, because it's not gonna be fun when you get the Karens involved. And like, I will say, Virginia Beach, some stupid rules, right? Like, no alcohol on the beach, no dogs on the beach from like the peak season, no skateboarding or longboarding is technically a rule there, and they have signs. They don't really enforce it though, it seems like. So it seems like honestly they just don't really enforce a lot of their laws, which is their problem. No one's gonna take your laws seriously if you don't enforce them. If you're gonna go practice your wheelies, if you're gonna do all this stuff, I mean, just take it to the streets, take it to neighborhood roads if you need to be on a road. And if you can't, just be in a parking lot, because that way you're really not gonna mess up anything. And I don't really have problems with people stunting on the road. I think, you know, in general, you know, if you're good at it, if you're being like pretty conservative, you're not being crazy, you know, you're doing it with a good space buffer around you. It's like, is it dumb? Yeah, but it's not the end of the world dumb. I think wheeling around people is just like, come on, people. There's like dogs, there's families, there's people in like these little surrey things that they don't know how to ride. They're homeless people like sleeping on the benches, and it's just like, I don't know, do you really want this? I don't want this, I can tell you that much. I think this might be a cop permanent license plate, maybe a cop, I can't tell. Oh, he's got lights. I see the lights. Sneaky lights, very hidden. I'm sure the surrons are fun. I've never ridden one, but I imagine they're a lot of fun. I see a lot of people actually like being pretty good at riding them, doing wheelies and stuff. But still, it is not a bicycle, and I'm all for breaking some laws, you know, but because some laws are dumb. But you know, at the end of the day, do you really need to be doing it down a pedestrian walkway? I don't think so. Although, you know, if I were to have a surron, I'd probably be more tempted, honestly, to use it on like hiking trails and use it off-road, because that sounds pretty fun. Like having a really lightweight dirt bike, basically, that's quiet. But still, it's like, you do this in pedestrian ways, you hit a pedestrian, it's your fault. That's the way the law works. You hit a pedestrian, it's always your fault. I don't think there's a time when it's not your fault and you can just say, oh, I'm sorry, it's their fault. Like jaywalking, illegal and stuff, but you hit a pedestrian on a pedestrian walkway, it's a bad day for you. And especially if you like hit them and then run away or something, you're gonna make enemies. People are gonna go after you, all the Karens on the internet. So bad look for bike life. What up, brah? He gave me the wave. When I was at Chick-fil-A earlier today, there was this old man in the back, and he was arguing with the lady about the price of his meal. And it's just like, why are you sitting here arguing with people? Arguing with this sweet Chick-fil-A lady about the price of your meal. Like, just, you ordered this, you already paid for it. Why are you mad about it now that you got it? So, I don't know, some people, man, some people. Earlier today, this bike had like a little two-step in the throttle. It's like, as I rolled it on, it went blah blah blah. It like wasn't right. So I don't know, can I squeeze in here please? Thank you.